Today's lesson is entitled Fear, the Ultimate Destructive Emotion, by Reverend Angelo M. Distefano. Fear is no doubt the most destructive of all emotions. Through fear, we lose our most valuable assets, qualities, and opportunities. If we examine humanity's history, we can clearly see this negative emotion knows no destructive boundaries. Fear is also an emotion that every man, woman, and child experiences throughout life. The face of fear has many expressions. Society, government, and even parental influence create many things we fear. Through the fear of rejection or ridicule, we often live in a limited zone of non-expression. In reality, this zone deprives us of our natural spiritual inheritance. Fear keeps us from standing up for what we know is right and just. As a race, we must become complacent in upholding our moral duties to each other. We have allowed others to make important decisions for us. The governments of the world have been allowed to do whatever they choose, no matter how inhumane their actions. The deadly seed of fear is sprouting up everywhere on earth. It is the essence of communism, fascism, and capitalism. It is the offspring of terrorism and a definite byproduct of the Antichrist. Fear has caused humanity to build the most destructive weapons ever known to this planet, and fear may someday cause them to be used. Fear has been driving the entire human race to a self-imposed bondage for ages. Have you ever given thought or asked yourself why we have given these humane governments the finances to build weapons to kill our children and us? We have so often wondered how a handful of self-centered, egotistical maniacs could dominate and suppress an entire race. We have become so afraid of dying that we have forgotten how to live. The one fear that totally amazes me is the fear people possess of God. God is the creator of all things in the universe. The love of God is boundless and limitless. How can it be that the whole human race places more trust in government for their protection? The fear of death will surely be our undoing. Fear is but a lack of faith. One thing is for sure, whatever you fear the most will surely happen. The fearful world we have created has produced such a potentially destructive time. How could we place so much power in the trust of the hands of these selfish, power-crazed fiends we call politicians? If it weren't for the greed to possess and the ego to dominate, we would not be in the frightening position we are in today. If the people of the world do not overcome this fear and take control of their governments soon, there will be no future for humanity but destruction. The ultimate cure for fear is faith. If all people of the world band together, we can rid ourselves of this horrible, self-inflicted bondage we have imposed upon ourselves and the future of our children. It will take courage and faith to revise the destructive path we have placed ourselves on. The only chance in reversing this determination and destruction is for all people of the world to band together with one goal in mind. That goal is self-preservation for all humanity. All of us have to put our inherited differences aside. No matter what race, color, creed, or religion, we must look at each other as one race with one purpose, as brothers and sisters, which is what God created us to be. This also means that we, as the human race, will have to stop to use all weapons of mass destruction. We will have to refuse to pay for our own demise and to expel anyone in office who wishes to inflict any destructive or domineering policies on others. If we do not do this soon, there will be no human race in the future. The handwriting is on the wall. There will be no winners in the next World War. If we search our inner selves for true reality, we clearly see that God is the only reality. Love and peace is the true catalyst for human existence. We can clearly see what Jesus meant when he said, "Only the bold in spirit will enter the kingdom." Another interesting quote he said was, "If you try to save your life, you will lose your life. But if you give your life, you will live forever." We as a race with technology have come a long way, especially in the last 50 years. We have become aware of many new inventions and have improved greatly in technology. However, we have not even begun to conquer the dark emotion of fear. The spirit of humanity has endured much in evolution, but the darkness of fear stalks us relentlessly. Darkness is nothing to fear if we remember that wherever the light of God is, darkness cannot enter. Words describing fear: faithless, cowardless, domination, anxiety, loveless, egotism, greedy, spiritless, distrusting, unpowerful, jealous, overbearing, dishonorable, narrow-minded, ignorance, vanity, hopelessness, irrational, and prejudiced. As you can see, the fruits of fear are non-productive and can only lead to self-destruction. Be ye bold in spirit, and you will obtain a crown of everlasting life. When the pattern of Christ is used to guide the egos of humankind, the love within us all to see others as our brothers and sisters will be our salvation. Look around the world today and think of the words of the Master, "Feed my sheep." Jesus was speaking of humanity as a whole. He would appear that most of the people of the world are becoming sheep. The fear and lack of faith we allow today will surely be our downfall tomorrow. We should all ask ourselves, is a life of domination worth living? Jump out there and be somebody. Remember, the slaughterhouse is full of sheep. but the eagle can soar with the angels. Only we can destroy our world, and only we can save it. Ask yourself, what would Jesus say and do? If we all work together and get rid of those power-crazed idiots we call leaders, we can create a future worth living for every single person on this planet. Harvest Day is just around the corner. Which side will you be on when the final judgment is upon us? This last section is by a man named Charles Fillmore, one of the founders of the Unity Church. The only safety from chaos is unity with God and His Son, Jesus the Christ, the head of every man. If we are not anchored to this supreme and immovable reality, we shall be exposed to the storms of mortal thought and shipwrecked on the rocks of materiality.